So what we're going to do today is, remember last week how I asked you about books and reading, and you said that you wanted to read The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane? Well, I went to the library and I couldn't find it. So I brought another book by that author, and it's called The Tiger Rising. Have you ever read this book?
No.
No, but it's by the exact same author. So if you look at the cover, what do you think it's going to be about?
It looks like there's two kids and they're out in the forest and they found a tiger or something.
Yeah. So you know that there's going to be two characters, and it looks like it's a boy and a girl with a tiger. So do you have any predictions about what you think it's going to be about? Okay. I'm going to read to you the front cover. It gives just a little summary about what the book is going to be about. It says, walking through the misty Florida woods one morning, 12-year-old Rob Horton is stunned to find a tiger, a real-life, very large tiger, locked in a cage. What's more, on the same extraordinary day, he meets Sistine Bailey, a girl who shows her feelings as readily as Rob hides his. As they learn to trust one another and ultimately to be friends, Rob and Sistine prove that some things, like memories and heartache and tigers, can't be locked up forever. So do you have a guess about what this book is going to be about?
So I know they're going to find a tiger. So, and I guess they're not brother and sister.
No.
I guess they're going to be...
Take a nice long walk. We got time now. Only 2 weeks ago.
I mean, it did say that there's going to be a friendship. So maybe they're going to become friends during this? Okay, so this is a chapter book because you told me you like to read chapter books. So I was thinking that every week we could just read a couple of chapters and then we'll hopefully finish this book. Okay? So we'll start with chapter 1. That morning, after he discovered the tiger, Rob went and stood under the Kentucky Star motel sign and waited for the school bus just like it was any other day. The Kentucky Star sign was composed of a yellow neon star that rose and fell over a piece of blue neon in the shape of the state of Kentucky. Rob liked the sign. He harbored a dim but abiding notion that it would bring him good luck. Finding the tiger had been luck. He knew that. He had been out in the woods behind the Kentucky Star Motel, way out in the woods, not really looking for anything, just wondering, hoping that maybe he would get lost or get eaten by a bear and not have to go to school ever again. Do you like going in the woods?
Yeah.
Do you like to hike?
In my backyard we have this little trail back there where we can go walk in the woods. Same with my nanny's house. She has a little trail where we can walk through.
Do you think you would ever find a tiger out in the woods? No. Okay. That's when he saw the old gas station building all boarded up and tumbling down. Next to it, there was a cage, and inside the cage, unbelievably, there was a tiger. A real-life, very large tiger pacing back and forth. He was orange and gold and so bright it was like staring at the sun itself, angry and trapped in a cage. Why do you think the tiger was at the gas station in a cage?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
Well, maybe it's a broke down gas station, it's an old gas station. Since he's out in the woods.
Yeah, that is true. It could be. So it was early morning, and it looked like it might rain. It had been raining every day for almost 2 weeks. The sky was gray, and the air was thick and still. Fog was hugging the ground. And to Rob, it seemed as if the tiger were some magic trick, rising out of the mist. He was so astounded at his discovery, so amazed, that he stood and stared. But only for a minute. He was afraid to look at the tiger for too long, afraid that the tiger would disappear. He stared, and then he turned and ran back into the woods toward the Kentucky Star. And the whole way home, while his brain doubted what he had seen, his heart beat out the truth to him. Tiger, tiger, tiger. That was what Rob thought about as he stood beneath the Kentucky Star sign and waited for the bus. The tiger. He did not think about the rash on his legs, the itchy red blisters that snaked their way into his shoes. His father said that it would be less likely to itch if he didn't think about it. And he did not think about his mother. He hadn't thought about her since the morning of the funeral, the morning he couldn't stop crying the great heaving sobs that made his chest and stomach hurt. His father, watching him, standing beside him, had started to cry too. So what's going on so far? What have you learned?
What's usually going on right now is he found a tiger,
Mm-hmm.
and we found out so far that he found the tiger, and he's waiting at the bus stop, and he's so frightened about the tiger that he could barely think about his itches and bruises and
Mm-hmm. So they were both dressed up in suits that day. His father's suit was too small, and when he slapped Rob to make him stop crying, he ripped a hole underneath the arm of his jacket. "There ain't no point in crying," his father had said afterwards. "Crying ain't gonna bring her back." It had been 6 months since that day, 6 months since he and his father had moved from Jacksonville to Lister, and Rob had not cried since, not once. The final thing he did not think about that morning was getting onto the bus. He specifically did not think about Norton and Billy Threemonger waiting for him like chained and starved guard dogs, eager to attack. Rob had a way of not thinking about things. He imagined himself as a suitcase that was too full, like the one that he had packed when they left Jacksonville after the funeral. He made all his feelings go inside the suitcase. He stuffed them in tight and then sat on the suitcase and locked it shut. That was the way he had not thought about things. Sometimes it was hard to keep the suitcase shut, but now he had something to put on top of it, the tiger. So he waited for the bus under the Kentucky Star sign, and as the first drops of rain fell from the sullen sky, Rob imagined the tiger on top of his suitcase, blinking his golden eyes, sitting proud and strong, unaffected by all the not thoughts inside, straining to come out. So what do you think is the tiger's role in Rob's life? Is he going to be a friend to Rob?
probably because about the guard friend,
Mm-hmm.
the friend he's gonna make.
Yeah.
I feel like they're both gonna let the tiger out,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like they're also gonna be friends.
That's a good guess. I think that might happen, but we'll have to read to find out. So I'll read one more chapter, okay? This is chapter 2. "Looky here," said Norton Threemonger as soon as Rob stepped onto the school bus. "It's the Kentucky Star. How'd it feel to be a star?" Norton stood in the center of the aisle, blocking Rob's path. Rob shrugged. "Oh, he don't know," Norton called to his brother. "Hey, Billy, he don't know what it's like to be a star." Rob slipped past Norton. He walked all the way to the back of the bus and sat down in the last seat. "Hey," said Billy Threemonger, "you know what? This ain't Kentucky. This is Florida." He followed Rob and sat down right next to him. He pushed his face so close that Rob could smell his breath. It was bad breath. It smelled like metallic and rotten. "You ain't a Kentucky Star," Billy said, his eyes glowing under the brim of his John Deere cap. And you sure ain't a star here in Florida. You ain't a star nowhere." "Okay," said Rob. Billy shoved him hard, and then Norton came swaggering back and leaned over Billy and grabbed hold of Rob's hair with one hand, and with the other hand ground his knuckles into Rob's scalp. Rob sat there and took it. If he fought back, it lasted longer. If he didn't fight back, sometimes they got bored and left him alone. They were the only 3 kids on the bus until it got into town, and Mr. Nelson, the bus driver, pretended like he didn't know what was going on. He drove staring straight ahead, whistling songs that didn't have a melody. Rob was on his own, and he knew it. "He's got the creeping crud all over him," said Billy. He pointed to Rob's legs. "Look," he said to Norton, "ain't it gross?" "Uh-huh," said Norton. He was concentrating on grinding his knuckles into Rob's head. It hurt, but Rob didn't cry. He never cried. He was a pro at not crying. He was the best not crier in the world. It drove Norton and Billy Three-Monger wild, and today Rob had the extra power of the tiger. All he had to do was think about it, and he knew there was no way he would cry. Not ever. They were still in the country, only halfway into town, when the bus lurched to a stop. This was such a surprising development to have the bus stop halfway through its route, that Norton stopped grinding his knuckles into Rob's scalp, and Billy stopped punching Rob in the arm. "Hey, Mr. Nelson," Norton shouted, "what you doing?" "This ain't a stop, Mr. Nelson," Billy called helpfully. But Mr. Nelson ignored them. He kept whistling his non-song as he swung open the bus door, and while Norton and Billy and Rob watched, open-mouthed and silent, a girl with yellow hair and a pink lacy dress walked up the steps onto the bus. So who do you think that girl is?
I think the girl that's on here.
Why do you think that?
Because she looks a lot like the girl they just mentioned.
Because they said...
Yeah, yellow hair.
Yellow
and
hair.
A pink lacy dress.
And that's what you see on the cover of the book? I think it might be her. And who are Norton and Billy?
I feel like Billy, I feel like he's this guy.
Okay.
And I feel like Nelson is like the bully.
Mm-hmm.
The bully, like...
Because it said that Norton was...
being mean to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, punching him.
Yeah, that is true. So, the next time that I see you, we'll continue reading from here, and maybe we'll find out about the girl with the yellow hair and the pink lace dress, and we can maybe find out what she has to do with the story. Okay? So another thing that I think that we should do today is do some writing. Do you like to write?
Yeah.
So I want you to write a story. So I have paper for you. You can write on this paper, or if you want to write on this paper, or you can write on notebook paper. Which one would you like to write on? That paper? Okay. And you can write about whatever you want. Do you have any ideas? So, you told me once that you like to read in your free time. You could tell me about your favorite book. And if you also want to draw a picture to help you, you can do that as well if you want.
What is your favorite book? Do you have a favorite book right now?
You told it to me last week. Do you remember?
Maybe it was your favorite book from last week. What was it?
The Tale of Despero.
Do you remember that conversation? Do you remember that book? What's your favorite book right now?
I have a lot of favorites.
Harry Potter.
Which one? So my favorite is Goblet of Fire, which is the fourth one. Have you read them all?
Did you read The Chamber of Secrets?
That's the second one, right? Yeah, the Sorcerer's Stone is one.
Yeah.
So who's your favorite character in Harry Potter? Is it Dumbledore? Hermione? Harry? Ron? Snape? Because you could write about your favorite character if you can't decide which book is your favorite. So if you want, Miss Weisenbach can give you kind of an assignment to write about. She can tell you what to write about. Or do you want to pick on your own?
I'll pick my own.
Okay.
You want to pick your own?
So where are you thinking right now? Are you still thinking Harry Potter, or are you going to think about something else? Like, did you do something fun last time it snowed? No. Not a snow person?
Do you want to write about what you want to do this summer when you're in Florida? Yeah?
Ooh, you're so smart, Miss Weisenbach.
You can write all about what you want to do.
I need to write. And when I go to Florida, I'm going to go to a hotel, and when we walk outside, it goes straight onto the beach.
That's gonna be so fun. Tell me about it in your writing.
On this side, on the right side,
How do you spell walk?
Walk. What sounds do you hear when you say the word walk? And whatever those sounds are, write them down. Walk. What do you hear when you say it? What sounds do you hear?
What word is she stretching out, Miss Weisenbach?
Walk.
Walk. What do you hear at the end? Walk.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too. Nice.
Yes. You got it. Do you want to go swimming while you're there? Too many sharks? Do you want to build sandcastles? Yeah, write about that. Where are you going camping at?
Friendship.
At Friendship? I know where that's at. That'll be so fun. What makes the sound?
Wait, not it.
Thank you. Okay, so then next week, I'll read this more when I get home, and then next week I'll come back and we'll do something else fun like this, and we'll read more of the Tiger Eyes, okay?